What if everything we thought we knew about Antarctica was only the beginning? For decades, scientists believed Antarctica had already revealed most of its secrets. But in recent years, a series of discoveries has begun to challenge that belief. Not with speculation, with evidence. Tonight, we're following the evidence. Before the ice spoke, for centuries, people looked toward the bottom of the world and imagined what might be waiting there. Some believed there was an undiscovered continent. Others imagined impossible mountains, forgotten civilizations, or endless walls of ice stretching beyond the horizon. But imagination has never been evidence. Everything began to change when explorers finally reached Antarctica. What they found was unlike anything on Earth. A continent larger than Europe, covered by ice that, in some places, is more than 4 kilometers thick. A place so cold, so isolated, that for decades it seemed almost frozen in time. Scientists believed Antarctica was remarkably stable. Its surface changed slowly. Its interior remained largely hidden, and many assumed that, apart from the occasional expedition, there was little left to surprise us. For a long time, that assumption seemed reasonable. But science has a habit of asking one more question, and sometimes, one question changes everything. Because beneath millions of years of ice, Antarctica was never silent. We simply hadn't learned how to listen. What kind of place can preserve the history of an entire planet? When the first explorers finally reached Antarctica, they realized they were not looking at an ordinary land. They were standing before the coldest continent on Earth, a world larger than Europe, covered by ice that, in some places, is more than 4 kilometers thick, a place where silence stretches for hundreds of miles, where almost nothing grows, where almost nobody lives. During the long polar winter, the sun disappears for months. Temperatures can fall below minus 80 degrees Celsius. Winds can exceed 300 kilometers per hour. And despite all that ice, Antarctica is one of the driest places on Earth. A frozen desert. But the greatest discovery was not what people could see. It was what the ice had been protecting all along. Layer after layer, year after year, century after century, the continent quietly recorded Earth's story. Ancient air, volcanic eruptions, climate changes. Every snowfall became another page in a book written by nature itself. Scientists eventually realized Antarctica was far more than a frozen wilderness. It was one of the most complete natural archives ever discovered, a place where the planet had preserved its own memory for hundreds of thousands of years. But if the ice can remember Earth's past, what else could still be waiting beneath it? How can a block of ice remember the history of an entire planet? Every winter, Antarctica received a fresh layer of snow. At first, it looked no different from the snow that had fallen before. But year after year, century after century, those layers slowly piled upon one another. As more snow accumulated, the immense weight compressed the layers below. Slowly, snow became ice. During that transformation, tiny bubbles of air became trapped inside. They were invisible to the human eye. Yet each one preserved a small sample of Earth's ancient atmosphere. Like pages in a book, every new snowfall added another chapter, and every air bubble became another sentence, written by nature itself. When scientists first drilled deep into Antarctica, they weren't simply collecting ice. They were recovering a timeline. Layer by layer, they uncovered a record stretching back hundreds of thousands of years. Inside those frozen cylinders, they found traces of ancient carbon dioxide, methane, volcanic ash, and microscopic dust carried across continents by the wind. These frozen records revealed how Earth's atmosphere had changed. long before the first cities, long before written history, and long before anyone could measure the weather. Antarctica had already begun recording it all. The ice wasn't just frozen water. It was one of the greatest natural archives ever discovered. But if the ice could preserve Earth's atmosphere for hundreds of thousands of years, what secrets was it still waiting to reveal? How can scientists know what Earth's atmosphere was like hundreds of thousands of years ago, when no one was here to measure it? The answer was waiting, trapped inside the ice. Antarctica preserves far more than snow, far more than ice, far more than one of the harshest environments on Earth. It preserves something invisible, the air itself. Not a reconstruction, not a computer model, the real atmosphere, exactly as it existed when it became trapped inside the glacier. As continents shifted, oceans changed, forests expanded, and long before the first civilizations appeared, those tiny bubbles remained untouched, silent, protected, waiting. But preserving history is very different from reading it. To unlock that history, the ice must leave Antarctica. Every ice core is transported thousands of kilometers to highly specialized laboratories. The temperature must remain carefully controlled throughout the entire journey, because even the smallest change could damage information that survived for hundreds of thousands of years. Inside the laboratory, everything becomes quieter. Researchers wear protective clothing. The air is filtered. Every instrument is carefully prepared. Every surface is perfectly clean, because the smallest contamination could mix the present with the past. Then, the work begins. The ice core is placed on a laboratory table. There is no hurry. Every movement is deliberate. Every cut reveals another moment in Earth's history. Layer after layer, the glacier opens, like a book, not written by people, but written by time itself. And then comes the most important moment, the moment when the past breathes again. A small section of the ice core is placed inside a sealed scientific chamber. Nothing from the outside can enter. Nothing from the inside can escape. Everything must remain exactly as it has been since the day that snow first fell over Antarctica. Slowly, the ice begins to crack, not to destroy it, but to release what it has protected for hundreds of thousands of years. One tiny bubble breaks free, then another, then another. For the first time, in an unimaginable span of time, that ancient air meets the modern world. You cannot see it, but it is there. The same molecules that once surrounded our planet. Now, scientists can finally study them. Specialized instruments identify every gas: oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, methane. Every molecule becomes data. Every measurement becomes evidence. Every result becomes another page in Earth's history. At that moment, scientists are not studying a block of ice. They are listening to the memory of Earth's atmosphere. This is how we know how the climate changed, how the planet breathed, how different ages left their signature inside the air itself. The glacier does not tell stories. It does not create theories. It preserves evidence, evidence that remained untouched for far longer than human civilization has ever existed. Perhaps the greatest archive on Earth was never built by human hands. Perhaps It was always here, silent, frozen, waiting for someone to learn how to read it. But when scientists finally analyzed that ancient air, they discovered something extraordinary. The atmosphere had not always been the same. Its composition had changed again and again throughout Earth's history, which raises an even bigger question. What exactly did those ancient air bubbles reveal about our planet's past? And how did those discoveries change everything we thought we knew about Earth's climate? That is where our investigation continues.